Hello, in this quick tutorial I'm going to show you how to make plaited tiebacks. If you want to see more on how to choose the contrast colour using a colour wheel, I'll leave a link in the description for the longer version. The first thing to do is measure for your finished length of tieback, allowing for tieback bulk and the end finish strip. The finished length of my tieback is 50 centimetres. You now need to gather your materials together, and we'll come to the measurements for these in a moment. You need your main fabric, lining fabric, some polyester wadding, or I've used recycled curtain interlining. And if you're adding a contrast colour, you'll need some extra fabric for this too. We now need to calculate for and cut out the components. Our components need to be 1.5 times the length of the measurement. So for 50 centimetre plaited tiebacks, I need to cut my main fabric 75 centimetres long by 10 centimetres wide. The next is to cut out the lining. Now the reason we have lining is to encase the wadding. You can, as I said before, omit this stage if you think you can get your wadding rolled and through the outer casing, but it's a lot easier to get it through when it's rolled in a piece of lining. So the lining I've cut 75 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Next we have the wadding, or in my case the interlining. You cut this, whether it's wadding or interlining, 4 centimetres shorter than your lining and your main fabric. If you're cutting with wadding, you can cut it, polyester wadding, you can cut it 12 centimetres. With this interlining, because it's thinner, I've cut it 22 centimetres wide, and then obviously the length is going to be 71 centimetres. And as you can see, with the 22 centimetres, it rolls up into quite a nice wad that you're going to be able to bend, not over thick. Okay, now I'm going to fold the interlining in half and place it on the lining. Okay, so you can see it's a little short of the ends. I'm then going to fold it over, and it's going to be rolling, but I'm going to start with a little bit at the top. I'm just going to pin it in place and then continue along the length of the wadding. And once you've got one made, you can just check that they're the same thickness. So once we get to the end, you just need to loosely lock it in place. You can have nice big stitches, it doesn't matter. It's just so that it doesn't come undone when you're pulling it through your main tube. Okay, and that's why, although it's a little bit fiddly, using the lining in the long run, it's actually much quicker. The next thing we're going to do is make our main tubes. I'm just going to show you a couple of ways that I can turn them inside out with. So this little tool here is called a loop turner, and it's actually easier to see if I show you the picture. So it's got a big loop one end that you pull, and on this end it's got a little hook that you can attach to your fabric, okay, to turn that inside out. And then you can see with this ruching, you just pull it through. Another way, if you haven't got anything like that, if you've got a long piece of cord or ribbon, you can just stitch that to one side of your tube. Make sure you're not going to catch it when you sew the two sides together, and that needs to go the full length of your fabric so that it comes out the other end, so you can get hold of it when you want to turn it inside out. And then when you stitch this down in place, And then when the tube is sewn together, you can then pull that inside out, tuck that inside out, and you'll pull the cord from the other end and it'll turn it inside out. So another way is if you've got, if you're a knitter and you've got one of those long safety pins that you use to hold stitches, they can be quite useful to attach and help you pull your tube inside out. So get your matching threads and then you're ready to stitch. And you can, just before you start, just stitch across the end of these tubes to hold that tightly in place. I've got right sides together and I run my sewing foot along the edge of the fabric, which is just under 1 centimetre. You don't want that seam to be too wide or it can catch on the wadding tube when you're pulling it through. My tube is now made, got a little seam allowance here, and now I've got to turn it inside out. So I'm going to use my hook tool. Whatever you use, make sure that's not going to come off halfway through. So now that I've got my hook firmly in place, or whatever you're using, give it a little bit of a helping hand to start with. Just tuck the top down. You can see my hook here, and then you can start to roll it over, and you need to give it a little bit of a helping hand. So pull a little bit down and then just ease it gently, and then you can breathe a sigh of relief when it starts to come out at the bottom. So detach the hook and it's ready now for the tube. So now to pull this through, whatever you pull it through with, make absolutely sure it's really firmly attached to it, because you don't want it again to come out halfway through. So I'm pushing my hook through some fabric and some stitching. Okay, so I've got a really firm grip there. So this is now really firm. And the next thing to do is pull it through the tube. So you want to give it a little bit of a head start. Okay, so make sure you can pull your tube over and tuck a little bit inside, and then you can start pulling. And if you've got a cord that's coming out of the bottom, that's easy. You just hang on to that and ruche up. But with my little tool, I can feel the ring here. So what I do is ruche a little bit, hang on to it, and then start to pull. Okay, so it's too long for me to show you the whole thing, but you can see there's just a little bit left there, and I can just pull it, but don't pull it out of the end. So you just smooth it all down until you're ready to stitch the ends across. And you can see in this one, I've just put a tacking row of machine stitching just to hold everything together on that end. The next thing I do is get ready to plait my tubes. I put the contrast collar on the top because it looks better when you're plaiting. The middle tube tends to get a bit lost. I set them at a slight angle, so when I'm sewing them, they're not actually flat against each other. That makes it a little bit easier to bend them around. Okay, and the middle one will just sit across the top. I've machined these together. A little tip I should have said was it's sometimes easier when they're sort of on an angle is to sew two together and then sew on the third one, because they can sometimes get a little bit lost underneath. So let's start our plait. Now the central one is the contrast. As I said, it's better because you see more of it. So we start to turn over and just ease your tubes across. Okay, keeping them fairly upright. And it's up to you. You can do a nice loose plait, or you can do a tighter plait. But the tighter it is, obviously the shorter your plait might become. So you can just continue with that until you get to the other end. So when you get to the other end, hopefully all your tubes will meet together. and just pin it to hold it together. Whoop. And then at that point, you can give it a little tug if you like. Whoops. Have a check, and you can try it on your curtain to make sure it fits okay. You're now going to cut yourself 2 squares for each tie back, 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter. However, try your tie back against your curtain, and if you think it's a little bit short, you can make the ends a bit longer, so you just cut these longer. So what we do then, take one of your squares, wrong sides together, fold it in half, and with the back of your tie back face up, you're now going to stitch this all along here, and you're going to stitch right from the end of that square to the other end. Okay, check that you've got all your stitching in under your seam. And here's one I made earlier. So it's stitched on here. Okay, we're then going to pull it over, but we're first going to just bring in the 2 ends. This is going to look a little bit messy because I'm not pinning them. Okay, and then you fold this one down, and I will fiddle with that a bit more to get it tidy. And then you're going to slip stitch all of that in place. So the square is now slip stitched into place, no longer a square, and I've sewn on one of the little brass rings with blanket stitch. And I've just sewn one into place, which I'm going to cut off just to show you how I do the blanket stitch. So I've made a few stitches on here, and these are much wider than the ones I've used to actually sew the ring on. This is obviously going to be cut off. So you just go under the ring, through the loop of the thread, and you get a sort of lock across the top. So if I just do one more, under the ring, through the loop of the thread, and you get your traditional blanket stitch locked in, and as I say, that makes that really firm. And finally, the tie backs are now in place on the curtains. New fabric and recycled fabric. If you found this video useful and would like to see more tutorials on soft furnishing and reupholstery, please like, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I make more videos. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your projects.